The pandemic has cost countless artists their jobs, and prospects for future income is uncertain at best, which is why a New York organization has launched a pilot program in the Berkshires to give artists work, just like the United States did during the Great Depression. There's a stillness to this land, where the rawness of the woods meets manicured beauty. On one of the final lazy afternoons of summer, except for a fountain, there is quiet. Just the way novelist Edith Wharton wanted it.
When a cold frost would kill her favorite trees, it was like losing a child. I mean, she was deeply, and instinctively, I would say, connected to nature.
Susan Whistler is executive director of The Mount, the home and gardens Edith Wharton designed herself after purchasing this property in 1901. It's tucked into the rolling hills of the Berkshires in western Massachusetts, and Wharton wrote some of her most celebrated works here, including Ethan Frome and the House of Mirth.
There's a scene in the House of Mirth. Lily Bart is at a house party on the Hudson, and the view that she describes out of her window when she wakes up is very much Wharton's view from her bedroom window.
There's so much space for thoughts with all this inspiration just still like bubbling and wafting in front of me.
And it is quiet here.
Mm-hmm.
Today, it's artist Leah Russell Self, who uses the pronoun they, who is guided by this space. And blissfully, it is where they come to work.
I don't have to be like, oh yes, I need to be in a building to do my writing. Nope, I'm going to go out in nature, sit on a tree stump, have some insects crawl over me, and this is my life.
Russell Self is one of 6 artists with jobs in cultural institutions across the Berkshires. Others include a choreographer working with the dance festival Jacob's Pillow, a filmmaker joining an independent movie theater, and a visual artist teaming with contemporary art hotspot Mass Mocha, all in rural western Massachusetts.
Artists are being paid to just make the beautiful work they make as artists that helps us all make meaning of the world, and they're also paid to bring their thinking to social initiatives.
Rachel Chanoff is director of The Office, a New York and London-based performing arts and film production company that conceived the Artists for Hire pilot, a national initiative called Artists at Work. Each of the artists is receiving 6 months of a living wage and health care.
The reason we didn't want to make it a grant, we wanted to make it a wage, is so that they would, at post-program, they would be eligible for unemployment.
Chanoff proudly acknowledges that paying artists who found themselves jobless or struggling financially during the pandemic is entirely unoriginal. Its roots are in the WPA, the Works Progress Administration established during the Great Depression. It employed thousands of artists teaching art classes, creating theater, painting murals, and documenting the country through photography. It fueled the careers of figures like actor, writer, and director Orson Welles, painter Jacob Lawrence, and sculptor Louise Nevelson. What did you recognize that worked during the WPA in putting artists to work in this country that you knew would translate in this moment?
We recognized that it was a time where artists were recognized as workers. You know, artists are so often thought of as kind of the garnish on the plate and the luxury item. When artists are unemployed, you have unemployed people who are on their way to becoming poor people.
To have like 6 months of this is your salary, this is what you've got, and if something happens to you, you can go see a doctor, which is not a luxury I've had for quite a while.
Russell Self is a writer and theater artist who first connected with the Mount while performing here prior to the pandemic.
Is there a statue that can encompass the love and healing I need?
In the summertime, people flock to the Berkshires for world-class concerts, art exhibitions, and theater. It's a feast for those craving culture. But here, Russell Self feels most at home because of the landscape. And their long-range goal for the pilot program is to work with young people of color to explore and strengthen their ties to this land.
It starts with young people having the opportunity to find agency.
In early September, Russell Self convened a retreat to explore how nature can represent home. And they regularly walk the Mount's 55 acres with project partners like members of the Rusty Anvil, an educational organization, to secure their own sense of place here.
It's a honeybee. Oh, it looks like it could be a younger one too.
my ancestors, like as I walk through those trails, to know that they cultivated, they worked, they brought something more to this land that I've never experienced in a history book.
Ultimately, Russell Self wants to make this a destination for other people of color who might not always feel welcome in predominantly white spaces like the Mount. And the artist will write a collection of poetry inspired by the experience. The fully paid, no strings attached time to do that is something Russell Self never could have dreamed of.
From the very beginning, it was, we might have the opportunity to have this money and to work with an artist, and we want to know what your idea is going to be. And it's not a common question to someone like me.
I don't know how the independent artists are going to sustain and endure through this period.
Throughout the pandemic, the Mount has had to suspend programs that would normally give artists a platform. And that's the situation nationwide, with countless artists among the unemployed and without a sense of when or if their jobs will return.
I'm used to working a few different gigs, a few different projects to try and piece everything together. That's totally not possible now.
Which is why the pilot's organizers are hoping it can be replicated around the country, where Rachel Chanoff says she knows artists can shape our economic recovery if they're just given the means.
We're hoping that this really changes the conversation about the impact and the utility of arts. It's that art impacts mental health and food systems and economies. Art is a crucial part of our endeavor as a commonwealth. And that's where the conversation needs to look.